Hello, everyone. Best top of the morning to you guys. Happy Tuesday, happy Wednesday afternoon, not Tuesday. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday mornings. And yeah, welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mehrob Fatemi. We got a packed show lined up for you guys today. We saw Game 4 last night between the New York Knicks and Indiana Pacers. The Pacers officially up 3-1, have put the New York Knicks on the brink of elimination, and with the Knicks heading home, reeling on their really reeling right now. Just going. I think this is the end for the Knicks, and we'll discuss everything we have to talk about with that game. We'll recap the game as well as talk about what went wrong for the Knicks and if the Knicks have a chance as they return home for Game 5. Um, from there, we'll switch gears over to the Western Conference Finals. We'll preview Game 5 of that series later tonight. Will the Thunder seal the deal on the Minnesota Timberwolves and punch their ticket to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2014, with when Kevin Durant was on the team, Serge Ibaka, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, that group. None of that group left. Brand new group, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at the helm, and they are now one win away from punching their ticket to the NBA Finals. Tonight could be that night, and we'll discuss everything with that. From there, we'll also discuss Russell Westbrook's hand injury. We saw yesterday it was reported late last night, or not late last night, yesterday afternoon, that Russell Westbrook underwent surgery on his right hand for a couple broken bones in his hand. We'll discuss everything that we'll recap his season as well as the injury, how it might have influenced, especially late in that series against the Thunder, and we'll discuss if it's time for him to retire or not, because this is Russell Westbrook we're talking about here. This is a future Hall of Famer. He's been in the league forever. He deserves the credit. He deserves credit where credit is due. Plain and simple. So we'll discuss everything that has to do with Russell Westbrook. And then to close out the show, I don't usually do this, but we're going to be talking about the we'll be talking about the Jeffrey. Whoa. Good. Between the breaks, I'll try and fix that so that doesn't. I'll fix that between the breaks. So sorry about that. But yeah, we're going to talk about the deadly fandom situation between Indiana Pacers, New York Knicks, something that happened, an altercation between the two fan bases early over the weekend. But yeah, so we got a packed show lined up for you guys. But before I move any further, of course, I got to remind you guys to please like and follow the show for more GSMC Sports Network content. Also, we get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show. So to ensure that your question gets read on air, ask that you use the tips and donations link at gsmcpodcast.net. This puts your question at the top of the list so I see it, and it also really helps out the show. Again, the link is gsmcpodcasts.net for all your questions and comments. But let's get right into it here, because this is a packed segment. This is at least the top of the show. If there's a time for you guys to stick around, well, obviously stick around for the whole show. Would love to have you guys here, but if you guys want to stick around for any part of the show, this is probably the best part. Pacers, Knicks, Game 4 last night, a massive game. The Knicks taking Game 3, and honestly, what was a heroic finish from Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson down the stretch of Game 3 to come back in that one. The Knicks looked to replicate that last night to try and even the series 2-2, give them back home court advantage, because obviously Game 7 would be on their home floor. And yeah, just give them the best opportunity to try and come back and make this series interesting down the stretch. Well, let's just say things didn't go according to plan for the Knicks. Things definitely went according to plan for the Pacers, and it looked like they just got back to their style of play down the stretch of that game, or throughout the whole game, playing with pace, playing with space, utilizing their depth, playing with controlled chaos. That's the best way to describe it. Just taking the bull by the horns, just playing their style of basketball. That is what the Pacers did best. That's what the Pacers do best. And when they play at that level, they're incredibly difficult to beat. They're borderline impossible to beat. So that was the style of play. That was the approach, at least, that the Pacers went with, and it paid dividends for them. Also, Also, it is not fair to talk about these Indiana Pacers last night if we're not talking about two guys specifically. When we're looking at the team in totality, the final score was 130 to 121, by the way. So expect a lot of scoring from both sides, but especially from the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton, the second, I think he's the only. He's either I'm pretty sure. I tried to fact check this before I came on here, but do not quote me on this. He's either the second person to ever do it or is the only person to ever do it. To have a 30-point, 15-rebound, 13-point, 15-rebound, 10-assist game, or 13, 10, and 15 game. 13 points, 10 rebounds, 15 assists. 10, yeah. Yeah. I think that's what it was. He's the second player in NBA history to do it, outside of Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic is the only one to ever have done it. And Tyrese Halliburton has done it twice. 32 points, 12 rebounds, 15 assists. Tyrese Halliburton was a machine last night. 11 of 23 from the field, 5 of 12 from 3. Just phenomenal. 0 turnovers. I think that's the key stat. Because we've seen some crazy games, but 30, 10, 32, 12, and 15 with 0 assists, 0. That was a perfect game from Tyrese Halliburton. And there is going to be an argument about this. I told you guys yesterday, I'm picking the Pacers to win the NBA Finals now. I think the Pacers are just that type of team. And I think we're going to see just how good Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is when he goes up against Tyrese Halliburton. And we're going to see just how good Tyrese Halliburton is when he goes up against Shai. This is going to be a battle in the NBA Finals. It's not 100%, but both these teams are up 3-1 right now. And yeah, I don't see a LeBron James coming back for the Timberwolves or New York Knicks. Imagine LeBron James steps on the court in New York's Knicks outfit, one series contract. I'm going to come back 3-1 from 3-1 down against the Indiana Pacers or Thunder, however it goes. That would be hilarious. But that is not how it's going to go down. This is the Indiana Pacers. This is the New York Knicks. And I think Tyrese Halliburton is just playing phenomenal basketball across the board. His running mate last night was Pascal Siakam as well. Pascal Siakam, of course, an NBA champion with the Toronto Raptors. Some say he should have won Finals MVP over Kawhi Leonard, even though I wouldn't agree with that. If you guys watched that Finals, Kawhi Leonard was the clutchest player of the series, even though there was no KD, no Klay Thompson, and if those guys were there, the Warriors probably would have won, but they weren't there. The Raptors won. Pascal Siakam was one of the keystones to that team to make it all the way to the finals and ultimately win and capture that championship. But he was a big reason why they won last night as well. Putting in 30 points, 3 for 4 from 3, 11 of 21 from the field. Phenomenal all-around game. Phenomenal game. So, when we look all around at this Pacers team, we not only see pace, we see space, we see youth, we see energy, we see endurance, we see depth. Just when these guys played the way, if we see the Pacers team play the way they did last night, I'm sorry, but I don't see anybody beating this team. The only way I can see a team beating the Pacers, I don't think the Knicks are going to do it, so I'm going to look past them. But the only way I see the Thunder or the Timberwolves doing it, even though I don't think the Timberwolves are going to make it, is if they're able to find a way to shut down Tyrese Halliburton. And even if you do that, even if you find a way to some insurmountable way to take Tyrese Halliburton out of the game, I don't think it's going to pay dividends. I really don't. I don't think it's going to be enough to beat this Indiana Pacers team because they have multiple guys that can take the basketball, take the load on the offensive end of the ball. Aaron Nesmith, Pascal Siakam, Andrew Nembhard, Benedict Mathurin had 20 massive points last night. TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin hit a clutch 3 down the stretch to put the game on ice. What was it? 123-116 with 47 seconds to go. Obi Toppin with the shot clock expiring from way downtown, knocking down a 3. That put the game on ice, and Obi Toppin hit that 3. Obi Toppin with 45 seconds to play was on the court. The number 8 guy in your rotation was on the court. This is how good the Pacers are. So this team's going to be around for a while. This is another conversation for another day, but we'll touch on it now. This team is going to be around for a while. Expect this Pacers team to be sticking around the NBA and just be. This is not a team that is going away anytime soon, and they're not even at the best. They're not even at the peak of their potential, in my opinion. They're gonna. If they win this year, they win this year. But I think they also have a guy by the name of Domantas Sabonis on the way, because the guy from Sacramento, the former Pacer, who's now on the free agent market, who's looking to be competitive in the playoffs, who misses his own, who we might see that reunion. There's been a lot of reports that the Indiana Pacers are the favorites to land Domantas Sabonis, and I think that would be the icing on the cake. If you added Tyrese, Domantas Sabonis, Miles Turner, and the rest of that group, that would be downright diabolical, as some of us would say. But when we're looking at the Pacers team right now, it looks like the end of the road for them. It looks like they're punching their ticket to the finals in Game 5. In my opinion, I think this ends in 5 games. And yeah, I don't think anybody can beat. I really don't think the Thunder can beat this team 4 out of 7 times, 4 out of 7 games. I just don't see. I don't see any team being able to beat the Pacers 4 times out of 7 games. I don't see it. The Pacers are just too good. And you could say the same thing about the Thunder, and there is a world where this series, I honestly would love to see this series go all the way to a 7th game. But I think it ends in 6. I think the Pacers finish this series off in 6 games. And when I say that, I mean the NBA Finals. And we'll talk more about this when these 2 series are over. 2 series is... Series? What's the plural of series? Series? I don't know. These 2 series are over. That's when we'll discuss the NBA Finals. But, yeah, Pacers take down the Knicks 3 times out of 4 games. Game 4 is over. Game 5 they'll be heading down to New York for a Game 5 on tomorrow night. Then we'll be right back here to talk about it. I'm not finishing the show though. I hope I didn't give you guys a false alarm. That's just one segment down. I'm going to take a short break. Coming up next, we're going to switch gears over to the New York Knicks side of the basketball. Do they have an opportunity to force a Game 6 back in Indiana? What went wrong for them in Game 4? And we'll discuss a little bit about Karl Anthony Towns, how crucial he was in Game 3, and some concerns we have that came in at the tail end of Game 4. So we'll discuss all of those on the next segment coming right up. You're watching the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Don't go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mehrob Fatemi. Getting into our next segment here, we're going to switch gears over from the Pacers side of things and discuss what went wrong for the New York Knicks, as well as discuss, do they have an opportunity in Game 5? Do they still have a chance to not even the series, but push the series back to Indiana, as they are on the brink of elimination at the moment? But pretty much, is there any hope left for the New York Knicks? And this segment goes out as a heartfelt This is a heartfelt segment to all the New York Knicks fans out there. Even though I'm a Celtics fan, we keep fanning out of here. But this segment is for you guys out there. But before I move any further, I'd like to remind you guys to please like and follow the show for more GSMC Sports Network content. Also, we get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show. So to ensure that your question gets read on air, ask that you use the tips and donations link at gsmcpodcasts.net. This puts your question at the top of the list so that I see it. And it also really helps out the show. Again, the link is gsmcpodcasts.net for all your questions and comments. But let's get right back into it here, because we're going to talk about the Pacers side of things. We got to talk about the Knicks. As unfortunate as it is, I'm not going to finish what I was going to say the next stop, because I was going to say something Celtics, and I'm not going to say that. But is there any hope for the Knicks in Game 5 as they head home on the brink of elimination? Before we get into that, before we get into Game 5 things, we have to discuss one thing with Karl-Anthony Towns, and this is a serious topic. Karl-Anthony Towns was the reason, in my opinion, if you guys go back and watch the fourth quarter of Game 4, or Game 3, sorry, just watch, especially the last 9 minutes or so, watch how Karl-Anthony Towns put the New York Knicks on his back. He put the New York Knicks on his back. The New York Knicks had no business winning Game 3 if it wasn't for Karl-Anthony Towns. They had no chance. They had no reason to win. 3 of 7 from 3, and a bunch of those threes came in the fourth. I'm pretty sure 2, or at least maybe all 3 of them came in the fourth quarter of that game. He's a big reason why they are as good as they are, and he is a big reason why they are where they are. He tried to will his team over the hump last night as well in the fourth quarter. But there was a moment under the basket. I forget. I believe it was, it was Nesmith. It was either Nesmith or Mathurin. I can't remember who it was exactly. But I wasn't really focusing on the player. But Karl-Anthony Towns went up to block a shot. And whoever it was, Nesmith, I believe it was Nesmith, went up, was on the offensive end with the ball, went up for a layup, poked his knee out, and unfortunately collided knees with Karl-Anthony Towns. Towns immediately fell to the ground, writhing in pain, could not get up, he could not quickly get up, and you saw after the break him just writhing in pain on the bench, trying to figure out how to play. He did end up playing somehow, some way. I have no idea how he did it, but he got up and got on the court somehow and willed on. I really don't know what else to say other than that was one of the craziest sequences. I've seen a lot of injuries, but that one was one of those ones that I expected Karl-Anthony Towns to be out for the rest of the series. And I think he still will be, but the way he willed on to still give his team a chance in that fourth quarter, he still had an assist. He had a couple points as well, but he was visibly hobbled, visibly limping around, grabbing at that left knee. I'm thinking about my way. It was his left knee. Just overall, it was. We wish Cat nothing but the best. Hopefully he'll be okay. But it was definitely a scary sight to see. But on that note, without Karl-Anthony Towns, especially if they don't have Cat in Game 5, I have no idea how you have any. I don't think they have any chance of stopping Pascal Siakam and or Miles Turner on the block. Mitchell Robinson cannot get it done himself. Josh Hart's going to be sitting there on an island versus Pascal Siakam, and Siakam is going to take that every single day and eat it up for lunch. Just all around, I just don't see the Knicks getting it done. I really don't. Is there any hope for the Knicks as they head home? I personally don't think so. Unless you see a Jalen Brunson 50 piece, which he probably still will show up and drop 30 plus, 40 plus points. I would not be shocked if he showed up and did that. But I think the firepower that the Indiana Pacers possess is just too much for the Knicks to handle. If we see games where, for example, Game 3, a final score of 106-100, 108-98, 101-98, something like that. If we see games like that, I think it favors New York because of their defensive prowess, the way they're able to get stops. And if the Pacers are not scoring, it means either their shot is not falling, which is rare, where all 8 of their guys are not making their shots, or B, the Knicks are playing phenomenal defense, which in that case, the Knicks love to translate their defense to offense. That's what they did against the Celtics in their second round series. They translated their defensive prowess to offense. So if that happened, I don't see that happening. But that's what happened in Game 3. That's the recipe for how they can win games. But when you see games where the Pacers drop 130, 120, 115 even, the Knicks are not winning those games. It's just not. You're not going to win a shootout. You're not going to win a track match against the Indiana Pacers. You're just not. You can't match up with their firepower. It's like taking a nuclear bomb and just throwing a stick of TNT at it. Who's going to win? Obviously the nuke, because it's more powerful. He's more powerful. Plain and simple. But with this Knicks team, if this is the end for them, it's been a phenomenal season. They had a great year. They went from, honestly, a team that I didn't think was going to make it out of the first round, a team that I thought that Detroit Pistons could beat. Not only that, they beat the Celtics in the second round, regardless of if they were healthy or not. I get it. But beating the Celtics is still a great feat. And then ultimately now against an Indiana Pacers team that I don't think even the Celtics or anybody could have beaten. I don't see anybody to beat the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference this year. Even as healthy Celtics. Maybe a healthy Celtics team could have beaten them in 7 games, maybe. But even then, I'm not picking them. No. So, when you look at this Knicks team, you have to give them credit where credit is due. They've made it farther than anybody expected. Tom Thibodeau hopefully will keep his job in the offseason. We don't know for sure because this has been the same old story from the Knicks for a while now. Regardless of their playoff success this year in terms of how he loves to coach them, his coaching style, him running his starters into the ground, blah, 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 the whole 9. Everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about. Mikal Bridges, it was Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is an Iron Man of the NBA. Quick story. Mikal Bridges is an Iron Man of the NBA. One of the most consistent guys in the NBA. Plays almost every game. I don't think he's missed a game in the NBA season, in the regular season before. And he comes out in the middle of the season and says, "We're playing too many minutes. I'm getting tired." He said something along those lines. That was basically the message that he sent to Tom Thibodeau. I don't know exactly what he said, but that's the general message of what he said. Pretty much saying, I'm playing 50 minutes a game. I think it was during a losing streak, and that's why we're not playing well right now. And yeah, I mean, that's when you hear reports of that, when you think back and you look at his history, when you think back at Derrick Rose's injury, when you think back, even Julius Randle back in the day, in 2022. This is a consistent report. This is the consistent consensus about Tom Thibodeau, about how he loves to coach. Now, will he get some depth on this team? Will the Pacers front office give him some more players to work with so he can increase and utilize his depth? That's another question for another day. And that's something that the league, I think, is shifting over to. I think the Pacers and Thunder are bringing a new era to basketball, and that is going to be the blueprint that a lot of new young teams are going to be looking to utilize. We're seeing the Rockets use it. We're seeing kind of the Nuggets kind of doing it, not really though. It's not just about the big threes anymore. It's about having depth. It's about playing with pace, space, just playing transition fast basketball. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's just what I think about when I think of this Knicks team. That's what they need to get some bench guys. They need to get some rotation pieces in the offseason. But that'll be another conversation for another day. For now, I'm sorry to say it, but this segment is kind of a eulogy for the New York Knicks because I don't see them having a chance, especially with Karl-Anthony Towns' injury. If Cat didn't get injured, maybe they could have forced a Game 6. But with Cat, I just don't. Karl-Anthony Towns is such a vital piece to this team. The way he's able to shoot the ball and spark that offense sometimes. we saw it. I said it in Game 3. That's why I started this segment talking about Game 3, because of how important he was in that game. When we think about those games that he won on the road against Detroit in the first round, what did he do every single time? Hit a clutch three from 30 feet away with 3 minutes to play and put the game on ice. Or not put the game on ice, but completely change the momentum switch. The momentum in the game. So when I think about this Knicks team, I feel really bad for Cat. Wish him nothing but the best. Hopefully he'll be okay. But I think this is the end of the line for the New York Knicks, unfortunately. It's very unfortunate, but I just think it is. And yeah, I think I'm going to leave it on that note because there just isn't much else to say. On that note, I'm going to take another short break. Coming up next, we're going to switch gears from the Eastern Conference playoffs over to the West because we can't have light without dark. You have to talk about both sides. This is the Final Four of the NBA, and we get Game 5. We possibly will see the first team in these NBA playoffs to punch their ticket to the NBA Finals. We might get 50% of the NBA Finals figured out tonight. And that's with the Oklahoma City Thunder going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves on their home floor in Oklahoma City, trying to punch their ticket to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2014. You're watching the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Don't go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mehrob Fatemi. Getting into our next segment here, we're going to switch gears from the Eastern Conference Finals over to the West because we can't have light without dark. We got to talk about both sides of the coin. Even though this is the NBA playoffs. I don't know what I'm talking about. Never mind. Just forget about anything I just said. But before I move any further into this segment, I'd like to remind you guys to please like and follow the show for more GSMC Sports Network content. Also, we get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show. So to ensure that your question gets read on air, I ask that you use the tips and donations link at gsmcpodcast.net. This puts your question at the top of the list so that I see it. It also really helps out the show. Again, the link is gsmcpodcast.net for all your questions and comments. And I said it before, if you guys have any questions, any comments, any takes for me to answer, any questions on what I'm saying for me to clarify, put those in the chat. It makes the show much more interactive. I can answer them. And sometimes there have been times on the show where I've scrapped segments that I was talking about blabbering that I was going to do. And I've just talked about you guys and what you guys want me to talk about. So you guys are a big part of what we do here at the GSMC Sports Network content. Everything is always appreciated. So any questions, any comments, please do not be afraid to use that chat box. But yeah, thank you guys as always. But let's jump right back into it here because we got to talk about these Western Conference Finals. What a Western Conference Finals we've seen already in the NBA playoffs. In the Oklahoma City Thunder going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves. We saw the Timberwolves take Game 3 on their home floor. Game 4, we could say it was Anthony Edwards' fault. We could say it was SGA that took over the game, going off for 40 points. We could say a lot. We can say a plethora of things. But it doesn't change the fact that the Oklahoma City Thunder are now up 3-1 in these NBA Western Conference Finals and have an opportunity tonight on their home floor in Oklahoma City to punch their ticket to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2014. 2014, when the back of the day, if you guys can remember, back in the day with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Serge Ibaka, an incredible group of guys back in the day, and these guys tonight with SGA, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and the depth, the youth that is on this Oklahoma City Thunder team has an opportunity to shine on the biggest stage of them all come next week on Thursday night, if they can punch their ticket tonight. And that's a big if. But it might be a big if on the table, but I see it happening. I don't see this Timberwolves team being able to handle the Oklahoma City Thunder. I just don't see it. I think the Thunder are too good. Their depth is too well. The only way I could see the Timberwolves having a chance is if they show up, if their starters show up. And I mean their starters. Anthony Edwards needs to show up. I got on Anthony Edwards yesterday because of how he played in Game 4. And honestly, it was kind of justified. 13 shots, 5 of 13 in a crucial Game 4 where you're going to possibly go down 3-1. The rest of the guys around you are showing up. With under 5 minutes to play, you're already having a cold game. Shot clock winding down. What do? You dribble into the corner, let the shot clock wind down, and jack up a 30-foot three-pointer off your back foot. For what? It was a tie game. You have an opportunity to take the lead. It's a big possession. What do? You jack up a three. It feels like I'm watching a Boston Celtics game. And I'm pretty sure it was Game 1 where we talked about the Timberwolves looking like the Boston Celtics, putting up 53s in a game. When we're talking about this Timberwolves team, I'm not sure if it's the way that the Thunder are forcing them to play. I don't know if it's the scheme of Coach Finch, who's been there for years now. But whatever the ideology is that this Timberwolves team holds right now, it's not working. Plain and simple. How do you have a team with Rudy Gobert, with Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels? You have shooters, but you have Julius Randle. You have so many big guys that you don't just attack Chet Holmgren the way that Jokic did. Attack him into the low post, bully him, and put up a floater. Utilize the interior of the game. Use the paint to your advantage. I don't understand how the Timberwolves are not dominating that matchup, and I'm not sure if they're using. There are times where they have Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet on the floor together, but even then, that's not constant. That's not all the time. There are ways around that. So, when I'm looking at this Timberwolves team, I see a lot of potential. I still see a chance. I think they have more of a chance than the Knicks do to come back, but I'm still not picking them. Why? Because they don't know when to stop shooting the three. If you guys see me trying to do something here, it's because I'm trying to figure out how many shots. They shot 41 threes in Game 4. I just don't understand it. I'm a Celtics fan, and I hate it. I hate when the Celtics do it, but I don't understand why the Timberwolves. I guess you have Nickeil Alexander. You have shooters on the team, so I guess shooters, and you shoot until you keep hitting your shots. But I just don't get it. I don't understand. When I'm looking at this Timberwolves team, I see a lot of potential, but they're just not utilizing the guys. They're not utilizing their guys in the way that they should be. And I think the Thunder, on the other hand, are doing exactly what the Timberwolves are not. Being able to play the style of basketball that they are. Being able to play incredible basketball across the board. 128 to 126 being the final score of Game 4. They hung around and they tried to make it a game down the stretch. The problem is you're going up against a Thunder team that does the exact same thing. Knows how to close out games, knows how to hit shots, has guys on their team that can hit shots down the stretch. Maybe you don't have one guys, but if you have 4, 5, 6 guys that can hit shots down the stretch, you're maximizing your chances of hitting those shots. Especially the level of unselfishness they play with. Especially the level of defensive tenacity this team holds. So, all of that jumbled into one, bundled up into a stew, and you have a great basketball team that's about to punch their ticket into the NBA Finals. I think the Thunder will do it tonight. I think this is the end of the road for the Timberwolves. If it isn't, it's going to come down to Anthony Edwards. It really will. And I think I know Ant-Man can do it. He can do it. But I don't think he will. I see this series ending tonight in Game 5 in Oklahoma City. That crowd will be rocking in Oklahoma City tonight. Can you imagine? Like, I don't know, whoever's watching this, type this in the chat as well. Let me know if I'm crazy. I'm a Celtics fan, and I remember last year when we punched our ticket to the NBA Finals, I was going nuts in that Game 4, after that Game 4 against the Indiana Pacers. Even though it was a little bit of a less entertaining series, and the Thunder have been much more of a, not an emotional, a little bit of an emotional roller coaster, especially last round. But, when you're a franchise like the Oklahoma City Thunder, a small franchise, a franchise that doesn't have a lot of playoff success, and you have a moment like this where your team is about to clinch a berth to the NBA Finals, you go all in. And they're going to be going all. There is going to be a lot of heartfelt fans out there that paid a lot of their bank account to be there at that game, to be there for that moment. And I think they're going to be ready to go. They're going to be loud. They're going to be, every time, I think the Thunder are going to come out like they got shot out of a cannon tonight. If any of you guys bet out there, I don't bet, but if you guys bet, take the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight. I'm not sure exactly what the spread is, but if it's under like 10.5, if it's 10.5, don't take it. But if it's, say, I think I could see 6, 7.5 maybe spread. If not, maybe even less, 5.5. Take it. Take it every single time. Because I think the Thunder are going to thrash the Timberwolves tonight. I really think so. I'm going to take a look at what the spread is. 8.5 today or tonight. Yeah. Take it. Take it, take it, take it. So, yeah, take the Thunder tonight. And yeah, Thunder will punch their ticket to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2014. It's shocking. It's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable franchise. It's a team that I did not have high expectations on in this playoffs. I thought there were going to be another second round exit just because I thought whoever won that Nuggets Clippers series was just better than the Thunder. I still think the Clippers could have been a better matchup for the Thunder than the Nuggets were, but that's neither here nor there, and we can't go back in time. But they did it. They're here in the NBA Finals, and they have an opportunity to capture their first championship in franchise history. That include. No, did the Sonics ever win a championship? I'm sorry, I'm 2003 baby. I don't know exactly. I don't remember the old days very much, but off the top of my head, I think the Sonics won one. I could be wrong. I know the Thunder have never won it, but I think the Sonics have gone to the championship, but I don't know if they've won it. I don't know. Regardless, this is the Thunder's chance to do it this year, and I think they will. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, tune into the game later tonight. It should be a phenomenal game. But I'm going to leave it on that note. Coming up next, we're going to switch gears from the playoffs over to some recent news that came. This is some offseason news about the Denver Nuggets. Russell Westbrook came out yesterday afternoon with an injury. Said he's going to be undergoing surgery about it. We'll recap the regular season for him, how good of a season he had this year, and we'll answer the question, is it possibly time for him to retire? So we'll answer all of that in the next segment coming right up. You're watching the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Don't go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mehrob Fatemi. getting into our next segment here, we're going to switch gears from the NBA playoffs, like we've talked about for the first little bit of our show here, and we're going to switch gears over to the offseason, some offseason news that just came out yesterday afternoon. Russell Westbrook specifically, a fan favorite, one of the best point guards to ever play the game of basketball. Seriously, he will go down as an NBA Hall of Famer regardless of if he wins a championship or not. It's just not fair to him to put him at that threshold, given the amount that he's done in the NBA, the things that he's accomplished in the NBA. But Westbrook undergoing surgery yesterday on his hand. He reported that he broke his hand in multiple places in the regular season, and somehow, some way, played through all of it in the playoffs. And he had multiple phenomenal games. If you guys think back to the Clippers series, Russell Westbrook was a big reason why they won that series. Hitting big shots down the stretch, he had multiple 15-plus point games. I wish I had this set up here. Of course, I'm not, because I don't know why I don't have it set up. I'm so sorry, guys. But when we look at Russell Westbrook here, we're looking at a player that still has a lot of promise. Still 36 years of age, so he's getting up there in terms of age, but still just a phenomenal player. This year, he averaged about 13 points a game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists coming off the bench. So, I mean, when you're guiding a second unit like that, I think you deserve praise. You deserve credit where credit is due. Only playing 27 minutes a game, playing 75 games throughout the regular season. You can't ask for better out of Russell Westbrook in these moments. He's 36 years old. He still has a lot to give, but he's just getting up there in age. Game 1 and Game 2 against the Oklahoma City Thunder, he had 19 between, Game 5, and this is just what I see right now. This is between Game 5 and Game 2. Game 5 against the Clippers and Game 2 against the Thunder. He had 21, 14, 16, 18, 19. And that's all points. Also, he had a double-double in Game 6. Almost a triple-double. Like, you can't ask for better out of Russell Westbrook. You can't do it. And whenever he broke his hand, I'm not sure when it was specifically, but it must have been sometime in the Thunder series. He must have done it earlier, but he must have re-injured it, because after Game 2, 8-6, 4-8-6 in terms of points. And his numbers are down 2 for 12 from 2 for 12, 3 for 8, 5 for 11, 1 for 7, 3 for... You see what I'm talking about? Just his numbers definitely took a dip after Game 2. And whether that had to do with a Thunder adjustment, whatever that had to do with. He was playing phenomenally before that. So we have to give Russell Westbrook credit where credit is due for the level of tenacity and play that he played with throughout the regular season this year. He deserves a lot of props for the way that he plays the game. And he's the only guy that plays the way that he does. The only guy I can think of that plays similarly to him is maybe Ja Morant. And that's a maybe. Because I think Russell Westbrook is in the class of his own in terms of the way he's able to facilitate offenses. I don't think Ja Morant can facilitate the offense the way that Russell Westbrook does. But when we look at Russell Westbrook right now, having the season that he did, whether you want to call it a bounce back season, a comeback season, I've heard a lot of titles put on it. But he's had a great year. Nonetheless, that is what we have to say about him. That's the credit that we have to give him. That's the credit that he deserves to have. He's had a phenomenal, phenomenal season. And we'll remember it. We'll remember this from him. I will at least, because especially from his time with the Lakers ran him out of town. The way he had a little bit of a resurgence with the Clippers, but even the Clippers ran him out of town. They said they didn't want to pay him in the offseason. He signs a 1-year deal with the Nuggets. And it just looks like a match made in heaven. And even though I have some feelings about what happened to Mike Malone, and I think he was better under Mike Malone, David Adelman still put him in positions to win, still put him in spots where he could succeed, his numbers show up for it. Like I said, between Game 5 and Game 2. Game 5 against the Clippers, Game 2 against the Thunder. that 5-game stretch, he had phenomenal numbers. And those were some, especially 5 through 7, were big reasons why they won those games. He was the X factor in those games. So put that all together and you get a phenomenal season out of Russell Westbrook. Now, is it time for him to retire is the question. There is one thing that Russell Westbrook is missing on his resume that I don't know Russell Westbrook. I've never talked to him, but I could take a wild guess and I could say exactly why he's playing in the NBA still. And you can see it by the way he's jumping from team to team and the teams that he's jumping to. He is looking to capture that championship, that elusive championship that he's been missing his entire career. He had an opportunity in 2014 and he ran into LeBron James. He had an opportunity with he made a conference. Did he make a conference finals or am I making that up? I might be making that. I don't think I am. I thought the Thunder made it to the conference finals one year. I don't know. I must be making it up. I apologize. But when we look at Russell Westbrook, he's looking to capture that championship. He wants to be on a competitive team. He wants to be a guy that even comes off the bench. I think he's found a home in Denver, and I think as a Russell Westbrook fan, you'd want him to stay in Denver. It's just, I don't know how long his body's going to hold up. Because now with the surgery on his hand, even though it's just a hand, it's not a big deal. You just don't want to see him get injured and go out, retire on a limp. That's just not what you want. You don't want to see him retire because of an injury, because he played for too long. Russell Westbrook is one of the classist, one of the guys, he just handles himself with such professionalism, is such a fan favorite. The kids love him. He's one of the best ambassadors for the game of basketball that at least for me, he was a big reason why my generation became a fan of basketball. When I was a kid, I grew up watching Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook play basketball. I grew up watching Russell Westbrook become the triple-double king, passing Oscar Robertson. That is what I remember. That is okay. That is my childhood. That is like some of my childhood memories of Russell Westbrook. He's one of those guys that when I think 2010s basketball, 2015 basketball, he's one of the guys, if I had to list guys off the top of my head, he's one of the probably third or fourth guy I mentioned, maybe outside of Steph and LeBron and KD. Steph, KD, LeBron, James Harden, Russell Westbrook. Off the top of my head. Seriously. And none of them are Celtics. That's how you know. When these guys that you think about are not even guys that are from your number one team, the team that you love, that you're fan of, that made you a fan about, that you're a fan of, that's how you know that they're true ambassadors of the game. So Russell Westbrook has been there for a while. He's continuing to inspire the next generation, same way he did for us. And we just gotta appreciate these last couple of years, because he's going to retire soon. When? We're not sure yet, but he will be retiring soon. I think the second he captures a championship, he will retire on the spot. I really think so. Rajon Rondo did the same thing when he won a championship in the bubble with the Los Angeles Lakers. He won a championship and then called it quits because he's a family guy. You got things. There's more to basketball than just basketball, and that's Russell Westbrook is a prime example of that. The amount of work he does off the court. So all around, we just have to give credit where credit is due for who he is as a player, who he is as a person, and beyond. But yeah, I'm gonna leave that segment on that note because we have more to talk about here. We talked about Russell Westbrook. We wish him nothing but the best. Hopefully he'll be okay and make a speedy recovery. But I'm gonna take one last short break, because coming up next, this is the type of topic that I don't talk about that much. But since it has to do with basketball and with how lean the sport of basketball is these days, it was either this or talk about Chris Paul. So I hope you guys can not cut me a break, but I hope you guys will appreciate this topic a little bit more than talking about Chris Paul. Chris Paul, still great, but this is a little bit more of an interesting topic. I'm not sure if you guys saw, but there was a stabbing in a brewery in New York, and usually a stabbing like that has nothing to do with sports, but it had to do with a Pacers fan stabbing two New York Knicks fans, allegedly. It's not 100%, but we'll be discussing that in the next topic below, in the next segment coming right up, and we'll get into that. If you guys don't want to hear that stuff, I apologize. I'll try to keep it as least graphic as I can, but yeah. You're watching the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mehrob Fatemi. Getting into our next segment here, we're going to switch gears over into something that's a little bit more serious of a topic. And if you guys don't like, it's not 100%, it's alleged, but we're going to be going through, I want to pull up the report before I mess it up. I'm sorry. But yeah, if you guys have not read about the Jarrett Funk situation, basically, here's how the story goes, and this is from Fox 59. Apparently, an Indiana man by the name of Jarrett Funk has been charged after reportedly stabbing two New York Knicks fans at a brewery during Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals earlier in the month. This is straight from the police report. When police arrived, they found two individuals with wounds. The court documents said that one had a stab wound in the back while the other had a laceration in his lower leg. In interviews with the two victims, they alleged that Funk approached them at the bar. Funk apparently got into one of the Knicks fan's face, smacked his hat off his head. Pretty much just saying F you. I can't say it. Being very derogatory. And pretty much saying, take it outside, take it out of the bar. We'll talk on the patio. Apparently around 5 minutes later, two Knicks fans walk out on the patio, and Funk just pretty much rushed them. And reportedly with a black folding pocket knife. And that's alleged. It's not 100%. And one of the victims said he had apparently Funk repocketed it and had no intention of using it. Apparently a verbal altercation reportedly evolved into a physical one, ending with the two victims being allegedly stabbed by Funk. In an interview with Funk, he reportedly told police that the two Knicks fans were talking blank and claimed that they were the ones that began the whole altercation. That's the police report, and that is from Fox 59. Thank you, Fox 59, for that little description right there. I know what you guys are thinking. It's crazy. And when I read that, I really did not want to report on this. If I did not have anything else to talk, if I had something better to talk about, I promise I would have picked something better to talk about than some fan rushing the opposing fans with a knife, allegedly. But is it wrong to just say why? Just why? Like, I think anybody that's watching this right now, that's watching this, would agree with me and just say, why? You're watching the NBA Finals. Your team is winning. You're going up to Knicks fans, which we all know. If you guys don't know, especially from Boston fans, we have a lot of experience with this because we don't like each other. New York Knicks fans like to talk a lot. They like to stick their chests out, whether they're winning or they're not. And you have to just listen sometimes and let it go through one ear and out the other. This guy doesn't know that, apparently, Jarrett Funk. But when we're talking about this, if you guys are fans of the game, just do not go up to random. If you want to go up to a guy and say, and just chop it up, as we like to just talk game. If you want to just mess with them and just play joke, don't be serious about it. Like, it's a game at the end of the day. We're spectators of an amazing game between two fan bases. There's no reason for guys to be getting stabbed allegedly, for being fans of an opposing team. There's no reason. There's no place on this earth where that is not only acceptable, but okay. It's nowhere. What? No. So if we see, this is not the first time that we've seen something like this happen, but don't let it happen. Like, if anybody's watching this, just don't do this. Just don't do it, because it's stupid. You look stupid, and I apologize for my language, but you do not look like an intelligent human being if you're doing this, and at least it's not okay. Like, there's no place on this green earth where this is okay to do. You're not fighting for your country. You're not fighting over a passion. You're fighting over a basketball team. And just because you're drunk and angry. If you can't handle your alcohol, don't drink. That's the golden rule that I grew up with, and but that's the golden rule of drinking. I'm 22 years old as well. I don't know why I said grew up, but just don't do it. But with Jarrett Funk, this is a situation with him rushing to Indiana Pacers fans. Hopefully this series ends soon so this doesn't happen again. But yeah, we see a lot of situations like this happening all the time. This is just the latest, and this is the one that's being reported on the news right now. Jarrett Funk just being the latest example of alcohol and sports sometimes just don't mix. Usually it's just a fun time. You're hanging out with the friends and you're just hanging out. It's fun. You're chopping it up. You're talking sports. You're watching the game. You're watching great basketball, enjoying a couple beers. That's what it should be at a bar anytime. Even if you're for an opposing team, you could sit at a table and just talk. Oh, I don't like you because you're a fan of the other team. All right, man. Whatever you say. But when we look at this situation, I don't know if the Pacers or Knicks or NBA have put out a statement about this situation. I guarantee you they will. But yeah, I mean, that's just the situation that we're in right now with these two, with this situation. It's all alleged. It's not 100%, and the investigation is still happening into what 100% transpired. And we'll probably, hopefully I don't have to talk about it again, but we might have to at some point. If I get another dry day, I'll probably just throw it in at the end of the segment, at the end of the show, like I did today. But, yeah, Jarrett Funk, don't be Jarrett Funk. Funk funked himself out. And I mean the dance. I mean the dance move, not the other word. But yeah. Just don't do this. Please, if I have to say anything, if there's any little kids watching this, just don't do this, because it makes my stomach, I literally don't know how to talk about it, because you can see I'm speechless, because it puts you speechless. You're speechless when you hear stories like this. It's just not okay. But yeah, sorry to leave it on a dark note, but I'm gonna leave it off there. It was a kind of a packed show before the last couple segments here, or before the last segment. I wish I had a little bit more of a juicier topic to talk about. Maybe tomorrow we'll see LeBron James retire. Maybe we might see Steph Curry we might see LeBron get traded to the Warriors. We might see Giannis get traded to the Spurs tomorrow. I don't know. I'm just saying nonsense. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it on that note. We got a big game tonight. Game 5 between the Thunder and Timberwolves. Thunder looking to finish this series off. Punch their ticket to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2014. And yeah, I mean it's gonna be a phenomenal game tonight. If you guys have any spare time, watch it because it's gonna be a great game. I'll be watching it. And I'll be right back here at 9 a.m. to not only recap that game, but we have another game, massive game 5 tomorrow to preview. So we got a busy end of the week here coming right up. Hopefully, we'll get some more interesting topics to talk about tomorrow. But thank you guys for watching the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to leave a positive review in the comments below. Whether it's positive, whether it's negative, let us know what we're doing well. Let us know what we can improve upon. You guys are a big part of what we do here at the GSMC Sports Network content. GSMC Sports Network, and let us know how we can improve our content to fit you guys' tastes and needs. You guys are a big part of what we do here, so yeah. For more content updates, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And yeah, I'm your host. My name is Mehrob Fatemi, the host of GSMC Basketball Podcast, signing off. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Wednesdays, and we'll be right back here at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Have a great rest of your days. Bye-bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.